This is The Willies on your 31 spooky movies of Halloween. Released in 1990, The Willies was written and directed by Brian Peck, who also appears in the film. It stars Sean Astin, yes, that Sean Astin, fresh off The Goonies and years before Lord of the Rings, along with James Karen, Clu Gallagher, and Kathleen Freeman, who seem to be contractually obligated to appear in every movie made between 1960 and 2000. Basically, The Willies was a roll call of beloved 1980s and 1990s character actors who all said, "Sure, I'll do it, but only if craft services includes pudding cups." So here's the spoiler-free synopsis for all who care. The movie opens with a group of kids sitting around a campfire telling scary stories. You know, your classic spooky sleepover setup. The framing story follows Sean Astin and his buddies as they trade creepy tales that each become their own little mini-movie. The stories range from weird urban legends to straight-up cartoon logic. And while they're meant to be scary, they're really more of a wink and a nudge than a gentle fright. Think Goosebumps with slightly more allowance money in the budget and a smidge more fake blood. And quite honestly, that's kind of what makes The Willies so much fun. This movie looks exactly like an episode of Goosebumps that somehow got its hands on a $300 budget increase. Everything about it screams Saturday afternoon TV special. From the cheap lighting to the obviously fake sets to the way the fog machine seems to be working overtime. You can practically smell the latex monster masks through the screen. The stories themselves are gloriously silly and quite campy. We've got tales about evil janitors and kids pulling the wings off of flies and being gross. It's over the top. The effects are rubbery, the scares are so soft you could show this to a room of preschoolers and no one would even flinch, but the tone works. Because it's not trying to terrify you, it's not trying to scare you, it's just trying to entertain you in a fun way. And that's really where The Willies shines. It perfectly captures the feeling of telling spooky stories to your friends at a sleepover or sitting around a campfire late at night, trying to one-up each other about who can tell the weirdest or grossest tale. There's a sense of playfulness and fun that a lot of horror anthologies seem to completely miss. Now, this is not Creepshow, this is not Trick or Treat, and it's not trying to be. This is Creepshow's dorky little cousin who showed up to the Halloween party wearing a cape made out of a shower curtain and a plastic vampire mask, but you love him anyway because you know he's having the time of his life there. Now visually, it's got that unmistakable early 90s cheapness. Fluorescent lighting, fake smoke, and props that look like they were purchased at Spencer's Gifts during the Halloween clearance sale, but weirdly, that's part of the charm. There's something so comforting about a horror movie that looks like it was shot in someone's basement with the full confidence of a Spielberg production. The tone, it's spot on. It's spot on for younger audiences, but there's enough goofy humor and retro charm here that adults, or at least those of us who haven't had our sense of fun surgically removed, we can still enjoy it. Again, The Willies is not there to scare you. It's meant to make you smile, chuckle, and occasionally say, "What did I just watch?" And honestly, that's kind of perfect. You also get this parade of familiar faces from the 80s and 90s. James Karen shows up doing his usual authoritative guy who's about to get eaten routine. Clu Gallagher gives us more of his gravelly charm. And of course, Sean Astin, bless his heart, plays the most unconvincing teenager to ever tell a ghost story. But he's clearly having fun. There's even a blink and you'll miss it cameo from Kirk Cameron. Yes, Kirk Cameron, that Kirk Cameron. I guess no one was too famous or too pious to stop by for The Willies. Or at least to stop by The Willies for a paycheck and a chance to fight a rubber monster. Really, Kirk Cameron? He's the scariest monster in this whole movie. And this whole movie is so wonderfully brainless that it becomes strangely enjoyable. It's like horror comfort food, light, fluffy, zero nutrition, but you just keep going back for another bite. It's like eating whipped cream straight from the can. You know it's not good for you. You know you're going to regret it later, but it is fun while it lasts. And that is what makes the Willies work. That it's so completely sincere. It's not self-aware, it's not ironic, and it's not trying to be cool, because believe me, it is totally not cool. It's a movie that just wants to tell a few creepy stories to some kids and have a good time doing it. That's something a lot of horror movies today could stand to remember. Not everything needs to be traumatizing or sociologically or psychologically complex. Sometimes just being fun is enough. I mean, yeah, it looks cheap. The monsters are foam rubber, the special effects are about 2 steps above a Halloween episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and the editing, it feels like it was done by someone who just discovered transitions in Windows Movie Maker. But I will take something like this over some soulless, high-budget CGI sludge any day. Sean Astin agreed to do this movie because someone told him it was a sequel to The Goonies. He realized it wasn't halfway through filming, but decided to finish anyway because he's just that polite. Look, The Willies is not gonna win any awards. It's not gonna make any best horror movie lists of all time unless that list was made by a 12-year-old hopped up on sugar and Saturday morning cartoons. But that's exactly who this movie was made for. It's harmless, goofy fun that knows exactly what it is and who its audience is. It's slightly spooky, incredibly cheesy, and never pretends to be more than that. Now, if you go in expecting Creepshow, you're going to be deeply disappointed. But if you go in expecting something light, campy, and full of 90s Halloween vibes, you're probably going to find yourself smiling way more than you expect. The Willies is dumb. It's incredibly dumb. It's cheap. It's corny. And I mean that in the best possible way. It is stupid, 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 stupid fun. And that's why I think you should make The Willies one of your 31 spooky movies of Halloween. I say that this movie is not like meta or self-referential, but that would be a lie. Because they reference the Goonies at one point. Apparently, the Goonies in this universe is a story told around a campfire, and it was told by Sean Astin's character. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, as long as those kids were based off of real kids that Sean Astin's character actually knows, because I don't think I could live in a world where Mouth and Data are not real children. So I'm assuming that the Goonies universe and the Willies universe exist in kind of a quasi-metaverse, so to speak. And that's really about the deepest this movie gets. Like, share, and subscribe. Patreon. Bye.